The city of Superior is offering homeowners a chance to win a free landscaping makeover.
Now, the idea was inspired by his city councilor after the death of her mother. Northern News Now's Michaela Wrench met with a recipient of this program who says they are grateful for the gift.
And residents over and over kept saying we need to spruce up our neighborhoods. We need to just have more green space in our entrance to the cities and main corridors.
That's why City Councilor Jenny Van Sickle developed this program in remembrance of her mother. She says she was able to pair the need to do something to honor her mother with the need to better the community.
Trees do so much work. It's incredible.
More than 300 residents submitted an application for the Scenery and Home Landscaping Program, designed to improve curb appeal in Superior. Wendy and John Buchensky are one of the 4 homeowners that were selected for the program.
Always in the back of my mind thought it would be good to have a rain garden. So when I read about this garden update,
and there you are.
I'm like, I'm going for it.
The couple says they are grateful for this gift because they wouldn't be able to do the renovation on their own.
Yeah, there's beauty around if you can find it and be appreciated at the same time. It's great.
John Buchensky says the flowers they currently have in their yard have already stopped people on their walks or bike rides. He says he can't wait to see how people will react to his future yard.
They're very individualized, so if folks had allergies or aversions or preferences, that's something that they could work through with the landscaping crew as well.
All 4 winners of the landscaping program will receive about $2,000 to $3,000 to improve outdoor space. A requirement is that the property sits in a high-traffic area.
If your neighbors get their yard done, it might inspire the neighbors to do their yards. So just some of that organic sort of beautification.
In Superior, Michaela Wrench, Northern News Now.
And funding for the project came from the $200,000 the City Council sets aside every year for home improvement. Landscaping on all the chosen properties is going to start in a few weeks in partnership with Missini Greenhouse and Landscape.